we going live? We are live. Happy Tuesday. I'm super excited to be with you tonight. We have quite a few things that have been going on. It's been a busy, July was busy, June was busy. So that means that August, we are taking a break. We are learning and being intentional about rest. So we are going to push rest. We're going to push rest as resistance. We're going to be pushing rest as a way to reset. We're going to be pushing rest as a way to refocus. So welcome to the vent. Come on in. We are excited to have you with us. We are excited to share in conversation with you. We're excited because it's August and we're beginning to switch things up. So the vent as you know it, the vent live as you've enjoyed it, will still have valuable information. We'll still have communal conversation. But this month of August, we want you to rest. We want to rest. We want to prep for the fall. Like we kind of shared with you guys before, we have some new stuff coming out in the fall. So we are getting ready for that. And we want to give you our very best. We want to offer you top-notch everything. So we'll be offering more in person starting in the fall. So in order for us to mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically prepare for that, as well as give our community time to reset even in your own personal space, we will be pausing. We will continue conversation. Let me be clear. So we'll be having these mini-sodes, but they'll be 15-ish minutes long, right? Depending on how much we talk, there'll be about 15 minutes. And we'll really be talking about the importance of rest, how we should be intentional with rest, how rest is an act of resistance, as well as giving you some practical things that you can do to rest. So we're going to give you the information, but we also always strive to also give you the practical pieces to go along with you, because it doesn't really do us justice if we're constantly getting information, but we're not actually using that information. So we really want to be very intentional in this time about not only making sure that we give you information, we share information, we have great conversation, but we also want to be very intentional about how we actually practice those things. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Oops, sorry. I was going on to Instagram because I can see everybody's things except for Instagram and StreamYard that I'm using to stream to talk to you all. So if this is your first time in, welcome to the vent. This is a safe communal space to share information, to be heard, to join in on the conversation. So although you see me on the screen, this is a community conversation. So we want to hear from your expertise. We want to hear from your life experiences. We want to hear from you. So whenever you want to chime in, drop something in the comments, talk to us, talk to other people that are in the comments. It's a communal conversation. So it's not just, doesn't belong to one or two people. It belongs to all of us. So welcome in. We are in season 4. I still, every time I look at it, like, I'm like, wow, we're in season 4. We're on episode 22 for this year. Like, that is amazing. So I'm excited about that. A lot of what we'll be talking about, and I am keeping time. So we got like 12 minutes left. When I say 15 minutes, I want to stick as close to that as possible because I want you to get rest. I understand that for depending on what time zone you're in, it could be earlier in the day or later in the night. But for my East Coast people, it is 9:00. For people who may be Central or West Coast, it's a little bit earlier. So we're grateful for that. But I still think that rest is very important. We should be very intentional. So we're going to talk about a few things. Where this episode even came from, where this series even came from, is kind of talked about it in our intro promo video. Dr. Tricia Hersey and her book Rest as Resistance, as well as her being known as the Nat Bishop, and just that big deal of resting in a world, in a society, in a culture that is constantly pushing for you to be productive and to do things and to constantly go and, not sleeping and waking up in the morning and being late at night. There's a time for all of that, but there's also a time where your body, when it's at rest, replenishes itself and gets to reset, and your organs and different systems are able to do what they need to do so that you can function like you should, right? So rest should be intentional. The same way we schedule meetings and we schedule things for work and we schedule appointments, we should also be scheduling rest somewhere in those hours that we're up. Right, and rest isn't always sleep. Sometimes it's just taking a mental break. So we pull that from her. We also pull that as an act of resistance in a way of this world, this capitalism society. All these things push us to always be producing something. But rest also is a producer. Even when you're not actively doing something, you can still be productive, which may not fit culture standards, but it is still production. As well as Audre Lorde. I have studied womenist theology for most of my academic career. So one of my favorite people in the world is Audre Lorde. And one of her most famous quotes, so that I say it exactly right, she said that caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. I say it again. Audre Lorde said, caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. So we talk about her a lot when we talk about community and doing things together. But when we talk about this idea of rest, I really want to kind of do serve a nod to her as well, because she really is one of those people I look up to when it comes to having balance in life, creativity, theology, education, having fun, enjoying being around other people, doing the work, but also taking the time to just enjoy life. And then lastly, Dr. Tamar Bryan. I know there are other people, there are other women, but I really want to highlight these three women when it talks about like this different therapeutic, when we look at it from a mental health standpoint, different therapeutic and spiritual activities that we can do that will cause us to rest. So I'm excited. Hey, Lena. And again, I want you to join in on conversation. So we have these other voices from academia, from professional spaces, but we also are people who live real lives day to day. So we also are able to contribute to this conversation because naturally we need rest as well, right? So the first thing that I want to ask you in line with that is, what does rest mean to you? So when you hear the word rest, what does that mean to you? Right. And I always like to share first, because I know sometimes you got to think about it. Some of us, process differently. So you may have time to think about it, see what you want to say, even analyze what your day, months, weeks look like. For me, rest is just not having to do something, right? So sometimes rest for me is taking a moment in the car before I move on to the next thing. Sometimes rest is sleeping, but it's not always, right? Sometimes rest for me is sleeping in and just not, and maybe having some tea and sitting in quiet and then starting my day. On other days, rest may be, let me go ahead and get out stuff early in the morning so that the rest of my day can kind of be smooth sailing as much as I can control of that, right? Rest is also being intentional about scheduling time to rest, right? So rest is not just in the moment, but if I know I have a lot coming up, I'm also looking at, okay, this month is a busy month. So at what point am I going to schedule some downtime, right? Downtime means I'm not going to fill a slot because I don't have a meeting here, so let me plug something in. Downtime is my rest is, okay, I got a meeting at 2, 3. So at 4 and 5, that is the rest time, right? It's being intentional about having those breaks so that I'm not in a meeting 3, 4, 5, and 6. Rest is also just laying on the couch. Rest is going to get a massage. Rest is taking a mental health day from work and maybe not even necessarily going somewhere, because sometimes a trip takes, it takes some out of you because you are always moving, and then you go on vacation and you're always moving and you get back and you're tired. So you went on vacation, but you didn't rest, right? So it's being intentional about what rest actually is versus saying you rested. Hey, Shop Drop Thrifts. Lena said that rest for me is being still and allowing my body to rejuvenate. That's good. Kalita said, hey, Kalita, I think it's a period of not doing anything or stillness. Yes, sometimes, y'all don't tell my daughter, she over here. She in her room, don't tell her. Sometimes rest is like you sit in the car before you go in the house to just, it's a mental break, right? Where it's like, okay, I just need a moment. Or you're at work and you're just like, go get lunch. You just leave the space, right? Sometimes rest is those breaks in the middle of the day. Sometimes rest is listening to your favorite song. Sometimes rest for me is driving in silence. But I agree with Kalita and Evelina. It's that period, like I'm not doing anything right now. I'm giving my body time. Like even tonight, for example, I I was like, I need to braid my hair. We're going on a trip. We're leaving tomorrow evening for a trip. It's like a staycation. But I'm like, I need to braid my hair. I need to finish vacuuming the house. I need to wash all the dishes. I need to wash clothes. And it's like, girl, no, sit down somewhere. Like, do what you can, but like, do you have to braid your hair tonight? And I was really like driving home, like, okay, I can stay up all night, clean, pack, braid my hair, and then when we get there, I can rest. Like, no, you need to rest now. One, because you're driving, so you need to be rested before you get there. And two, is like, why are you trying to? A lot of us, and because I know I'm not the only one, cram stuff into like one day, and it's like there are the other days, right? I got to tell myself that, like, there are other days that you can do this. Do you have to do this right now? Right? Sometimes we have to ask ourselves that. Yes, Kalita, those car moments. I know everybody probably knows, but I know mamas know those car moments are so, like, sometimes I was sitting there and I would eat and then I got to throw away my trash because if she get in the car, she see I went somewhere without her, it's going to be a whole thing. So I got to throw my trash away at the gas station or somewhere, or I got to go to the trash. So I just got to do my things. But yes, that silent car ride, it's life saving sometimes. Um, Evelina said sleeping. Sometimes we forget the power of catching Z. Yes, because I've been like, I'm gonna pull it all night. I'm gonna pull an all nighter, and then I pull all nighters, and it's like, why did you do that? Now you're dragging through the day, and you got to get your sleep pattern back on track because you decided, oh, I could just stay up all night. No, don't do it, Kalita. I know you knew what I know what I was talking about. So again, I want to stay true to time. Y'all know I just be talking. I'm gonna stay true to time. So here are a few things from Tricia Hersey, and again, she is the author of Rest as Resistance. So a few things, a few tips. If you want to write them down, keep them for yourself. Whatever you want to do. I would say let's do that together. So I'm gonna just skip past one of those. But Rest as Resistance, and this is from Tricia Hersey, and a few of the things that kind of she highlights, and I highlight some things from her as well as from Dr. Tamar Bryant. One is napping. Evelina just talked about, just the power of catching Z's. Like napping and short naps often can get us out of that. They can break us out of this culture of go, go, go. It gives you that time to kind of stop that, so you don't just keep getting caught up in that cycle. I need to do this. I need to go over here. I need to do that. Sometimes you got to pause, take you a little 20-minute, 30-minute nap, even if it's a 15-minute nap real quick. I was talking to one of my coworkers yesterday, and I was like, we went to a visit together, and then we went our separate ways, and then we came back and finished the day together. And I was like, what did you end up doing in between time? She was like, girl, I got something to eat, and then I took a nap. Because sometimes it's what you need. There are other days in the month that we're gonna do what we need to do. We do what we need to do every day. But sometimes I need to pause for my sanity, for my mental health. Another one. So napping, mindfulness, and meditation. So taking moments throughout your day, like this is something, and I love a lot of the things that Dr. Bryant as well as Tricia Hersey say, because what they do is they give you these practices that you don't have to take a lot of time. You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of resources or things that you got to put together. It's simple things, right? So mindfulness and meditation. Some people may listen to quiet music while they do it, but it's just taking time to do like some deep breathing exercises. And you can find, if you don't want to do them on your own or count on your own, you can find deep breathing exercises for free on things like YouTube. You can find them on, like in different books and things like that, free resources where you just take a day and just a moment out of your day, let me just take a deep breath. And it's like as simple as it sounds. I have tried that, and it really has helped. It really has helped. Another one is just not thinking about anything. Right? So it's those moments where you just it's referred to as daydreaming, but it's like letting your creativity flow and letting your mind wander. So a lot of these things take us back almost to like childhood or like we're children, but it's letting your mind just go wherever it goes. and letting it flow. Like sometimes I am on the beach, honey. My mind has gone to the beach. If anybody know me, my mind is going to the beach. It's gonna be about some water every single time. Another thing, and I think this is good for us and good for any age, honestly, is disconnected from technology. Being stimulated, like your mind constantly being stimulated, even though like when you scroll, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm just chilling. Um, it um it actually is keeping us stimulated. Like the screens, the lights, the videos, the sounds, it actually keeps your body stimulated, and you have to like calm back down. That's a lot of times with our kids, if they're watching screens or they are excited, we have to give them time to like calm down and come back down. Same thing for us. You have to take the time to like disconnect for the screen sometimes, because even though you don't always recognize it, it's really keeping you stimulated, keeping you thinking, keeping you going. Kalita said, getting that back into my morning routine. Yes. Sometimes you just need that time to just think and just meditate. I think that's good. And then creating a rest sanctuary. Hey, Miss Norma Jones. A rest sanctuary. So designate a space where you can just, this is my go-to space that I just rest. I don't, even if I'm just sitting there, like for some of us and y'all, it may be in the bathroom. Like I have a little bench in my bathroom, and look, I used to sit on the toilet, but just sit there. You don't have to be using the bathroom. Let me be clear. Just sitting there and just, this is my space, right? For some people, if you have like a porch or a screened in area, or you have a room that a lot of people don't go into, shoot, sometimes you might have to go in the closet, right? But have a designated space in the garage. Kalita said she takes those moments sometimes when she just sits in the car. Like your car may be your sanctuary, right? It may be your space of just sit here for 10 minutes. I'm not going to listen to anything. I'm going to just let my mind wander, or I'm going to meditate. I'm going to do some deep breathing. And this is my safe space, right? That's it. That's your rest sanctuary. It may be, once everybody leaves the house. And for some of us, you may have to like leave the house with everybody and let them go and think you going to work. And then you come right back to the house. You might have to block the Ring camera or something, but come on back. Some of the things that Dr. Tama often highlights is spiritual practices. For those of us who may be spiritual or that may engage in a faith system, it's praying, it's chanting, it is going back to that meditation. It's those moments of calm and stillness. That's it. I'm telling you, it's those moments where you can just, and it's also a release. So praying, no matter how you pray, what you pray, it's a release and it's an unloading of, this is what's on my mind, this is what I'm going through, this is what I desire, this is what's been happening, and I'm releasing this over, right? So not only do you get to unload, but you also get to kind of listen to see what may be said back to you, right? So I'm saying these prayers, I'm releasing this information. I have a chant that I recite. I have a meditation that I like to say. And a lot of times that can center many of us and bring us back, right? Lena said, I used to have a big bathroom in my previous apartment, I'm sorry, and that was my sanctuary. Absolute girl. When I tell you, sometimes I probably sit on the bench in my bathroom for like an hour or more, and I'm just there. Just sitting there, and it's like, that's just what I need right now. Because often we also get caught up in like, when we get around other people, we're going, people need something, people are calling, right? And it's family, it's children, it's work, it's community stuff, it's whatever it may be. So you need that moment of just like, nobody's pulling on me right now, right? Evelina said crying is a release, and often during those spiritual moments, whether it be prayer, devotional time, whatever that looks like for you, crying, sometimes some of us cry, we cry out in those moments, or just crying like Evelina, like sometimes it's okay to cry, it's okay to let it out. Also, one of the other things that Dr. Tamar Bryant highlights is participating in therapy or support groups to process emotional burdens. So for some of us, it may be prayer. For some of us who may not be comfortable with that, or who do not subscribe to any type of religion or spiritual practice, having some type of community. So a therapist, a counselor, a group that you meet with that is like-minded, or a group that may have had like a grief group, or what is it, like Grief Share, or different groups that have a common goal, or have a common cause that come together, or just having people around you that you could just kind of talk to, and they can help you process what you're feeling. Because half the battle, honestly, is just getting it out. Because we carry so much, and sometimes when you cry, you release. When you just get the words out and you tell some people what happened, that's very therapeutic. So that's an activity of you releasing something as well. And then another way to release is physical movement. So again, it doesn't have to be anything really intense. So physical movement can be you taking a walk. Physical movement, I know sometimes, like at my job at the church, I'll get up and I'll just walk around. I'll walk and just be saying hey to people, and they probably like, what are you doing? I just needed a moment to get my body moving. It may, some people run, some people do or have gym memberships. You don't have to have a gym membership, but you can walk around your neighborhood. You can walk around your house. If you have stairs, you can go up and down the stairs. You can do, again, YouTube has so many different types of workouts and things like that. But there's something about a release, physical release. I tell people this a lot. Like, my massage therapist is always on me. She's like, take care of yourself. She knows like literally what I do during the week without me telling her. She's like, oh, you've been sitting down a lot. Oh, you've been typing a lot, just because of how my muscles feel when she massages me. I hold my stress. She's like, okay, what's going on? Because your shoulders are at your ears. She'll tell me that. She said, your shoulders are in your ears. What's going on? What's going on, friend? That's what she says, right? So she knows, because I'm holding stress in my neck and my upper back. I'm holding stress in my hands. So often our release is that workout, it's that run, it's that stretching. So also finding physical things that you can do, because often we don't realize how much that physical body movement releases things, especially as people of color. With us, with the body movement and dancing, like, that really is a release for us. As much as it can seem trivial or can seem like minuscule, us dancing and moving around. You have been out, like, we had VBS last week, but I'm going kind of left here. I'm coming back, I promise. But us dancing, like, if you see how many people smile and like whole demeanor change because they're up smiling with people, dancing and just enjoying life. And that is literally something that's a part of our culture. The movement, the music, that's part of culture for many people of color. And that can, you never know how much that can really change your day. So that is one of the biggest things. Like, the resistance is, I'm not going to get caught up in this hustle culture. I'm not going to get caught up in I have to produce, because I need to rest. Like, my body literally requires me to rest in order for me to keep moving forward. And then I want to talk about some of the consequences. So somebody might be like, this sounds good, or I don't have time. Okay, here's what happens when you don't rest. Burnout. Many of us face that, have faced it, may face it again, but you're physically, not just physically unable to do things, or not just physically exhausted, but you're mentally and spiritually exhausted, because you literally are at your wit's end. You have nothing left, because you've been pouring out, and you haven't received anything, right? You haven't taken the time to replenish. You're just going. That's burnout. Puts you in a place where you don't like nobody, you don't want to do nothing, right? That's a consequence. Decreased cognitive function. Why can't I think? Why can't I concentrate? Why, when I lay down, I can't go to sleep? Why am I not as decisive as I once was? Because you're tired. You can't even think straight. That is a result or consequence of not giving your body time to rest. Brain fog, things like that. Health issues. It's a long list. I'll just name a few, right? High blood pressure, right? It can lead to depression, right? And it's because it's not just physical. Anxiety, heart attack, strokes, like all of these things that deal with your blood pressure, heart issues, because you're not giving your organs and different parts of your body are not functioning as they should, because they have not had the time to replenish when your body is at rest. Also reducing your quality of life. So you really want to enjoy the cookout, you really want to enjoy the time with your kids, you're falling asleep, you're too tired, got an attitude because you are tired. You need to go sit down somewhere and take a moment, right? So our consequences, and this is not exhaustive: burnout, decreased cognitive function, health issues, reduced quality of life. Why did I react so slow? Because you are tired and your body does not know how to move at the same space because it has not been able to do what it needs to do. So what does that mean for us? So we know some of the consequences. We looked at some of the reasons why we should rest. And I'm going to save this because we have 25 minutes. Y'all don't tell nobody. One thing we have to do is reprogram our mind, right? Not to, yes. So before we hop into that, Evelina just highlighted a good book. Y'all know I love a good book. So we talked about Trisha Hersey's Rest as Resistance. Also, any articles, anything you can find of Audre Lorde, I'm always going to promote that. And then one of the books Dr. Janelle Riddick's book, Getting It Done Without Becoming Undone. I actually have that book. I should have pulled it out. I didn't pull it out, but Getting It Done Without Becoming Undone. And some of the things highlight is really taking care of yourself as you're taking care of other things and pursuing what you want to do. Don't forget that you also have to take care of you. Absolutely. And part of us being able to rest and do it intentionally is reprogramming our brains. So reprogramming rest. Rest is not a reward. I forgot who said that. It may be the Nat Bishop, but rest is not a reward. Like, rest is not something you get because you did something. Rest is a requirement. Rest is a requirement. Rest is a requirement. You should be resting because it is a requirement, not because you accomplished a task, not because you checked some off the checklist. You should be resting because your body, literally your mind, your body, your spirit, your emotions need you to rest. So if we can kind of understand that and get that in our brains and reprogram our minds to say, oh, I can rest now because I did this. No, you need to be saying, I need to rest now because my body needs it, because my brain needs it, because my neck and my back need it, because my cognitive functioning needs it, because my kids need me to rest, because my spouse needs me to rest, because my significant other needs me to rest, because I need me to rest so that I can function at optimal quality. I need to rest. Rest is not a reward. Thank you for posting that. It is a requirement. Okay, we got to reprogram our minds, and it's not an overnight thing because many of us are like, oh, now I can rest. No, now I should be resting. Now I have to rest. Intentionality and praxis. So we talked about some of these things. So I want to just, before we hop off, and again, if you guys have anything that you want to share, please share it. But please incorporate and figure out how you can prioritize rest. Even again, if it's not sleep, it's taking those moments to breathe, to nap, to meditate early in the morning before the kids are up, to center yourself for the day, whatever that looks like for you, because the benefits are your improved mental health, right? The benefits are enhanced creativity because you can think clearly, right? Better physical health, and emotional resilience. When you're burnt out, like, it's hard to bounce back. Many of us get tired. We don't want to do anything. We have no desire to do a lot. You know, a lot of us changes. But when we are able to get that rest and we're intentional and we're really putting in the work to do it, we improve ourselves as well as those around us. So look at creating your rest sanctuary. Look at what it looks like for you to take 5 to 10 minutes out of your day to do some deep breathing and meditation. Listen to some ocean waves or some jazz or whatever that is for you in the car ride or driving silence. Whatever that looks like for you, please, I'm asking you to do it. Please, please, please. Not for me, not for anybody else, for yourself, for your emotional health, for your mental health, for your spiritual health. Please take time to rest. Rest your mind. Rest those thoughts that keep racing. Rest. Please, please, please. Right? So if you like, I don't know where to start, you can DM me the word rest, or you can comment if you're in our group me in the vestibule. Just comment rest, and I will send you resources of things that you can do. And it could be 2-minute things to, it's gonna run the gamut of things. So either DM me the word rest, or comment in the group rest, and I will send you resources. So thank you. I know I said 15 minutes, but I'm so glad that y'all love me enough to stick around. If you have any questions, anything like that, join me in the vent vestibule after this. Again, if you want some resources, DM me the word rest, and I will send you some. Get some rest, and I will see you next week. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. See you later. Get some rest.